But yeah, we'll go. About to start here. I tested positive last week after I got home, so I'm in my 6 to 10 day. The mask, I suppose I should be here. The mask is part of the health department thing, so that's what we're up to today. So we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order at 9 o'clock. Would you do the roll call, Becky?
Absolutely. Tom Wilson.
Here.
Dave Bally.
Here.
Bill Palin.
Here.
Marvin Williams.
Here.
Rick Humphrey.
Here.
Jack Skrockstead.
Here.
We have some, got some usual visitors or attendees. Add them to the list. Do you have anything at this time you want to put on that's not on the agenda? Any of the visitors? All right. You got them written down. Who's here? Okay.
Chairman, Marilyn Shepherd's on. I don't know if you want to ask Marilyn if she has anything.
Hi, Marilyn. You on? Can you hear us?
I can hear you. Just checking in, watching. I can do some housework and still keep track of what's going on. So no, nothing specific today.
Okay, very good. Thanks for coming on board. Anybody get a chance, or everybody get a chance to look at the minutes? Any corrections you see? Hearing none, the minutes will approve as posted. Claims report. Let's see. Sure.
So the timing of the meetings and the timing of the claims report coming from the treasurer's office is a little bit off. So instead of adding them to every meeting, we added them to the resource folder, because when I have to post properties, the reports are done the next day. So the claims reports are in the resource folder. The entire report will be on the county board agenda. So that's why you don't see them there. But if you have any questions there.
That makes more sense.
Yeah.
Let's see. Next, administrator and department head reports. Animal control. Terry, do you have anything to give on a report with your?
Hey, here. Can you hear me? Is this on?
Yeah,
It's
pull
on.
closer to you.
Okay. I think in your packets, Becky had added to your packets some graphs, and I just kind of wanted to touch on them a little bit. Our new database can do this, which is really kind of cool. It shows the animal entry reasons, and then the exit reasons. And then there's also, that's interesting, is citations issued by what we issue, like if it's vaccine or dog at large. And then the other one is incidents by type, which is things that we write up for animals at large, dog on dog, bites, that kind of thing. So they're kind of nice to look at. And this is actually January through the end of May. I didn't know if anybody had any questions or interest in that they had questions on.
I just want to say, I think this is awesome that you can put together like just a graph and share with us some of the different things that you are responsible for.
Thanks, Jack.
You say now this is about 5 months worth of data?
6 months, yeah.
6 months?
Yep.
Okay. I wouldn't necessarily say, that every month you give this, but I think 6 months is a good number. But I think this kind of shows the board exactly some of the things that, that you're all doing. You're not just, have a dog pound. It's not just what you do. You
Right.
do a lot of different other things. So I think that's important for you to share with us and the rest of the members here of all the different things that you do. So I thank you for this little, it's just a graph. It's not much, but I think the database really, it's doing what it's supposed to do. So awesome.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thanks. That's all I had, Dave.
Okay, anybody else on that? Anybody else have any questions? Thank you, Terry.
Mhm.
Dee's not available for zoning office. Alice, you want to give a report real quick for zoning?
I believe Dee submitted her report, excuse me, to Onboard, and it should be available through Onboard for your review.
Yeah, it's here.
Parents of dogs are playing movies and
That we need to work on. Greg Gates isn't here from Lots. Yep. Okay. Got Greg's usual report. Is posted. See, we got petitions going to zoning board. None. Petitions going to the planning commission, none. Petitions coming from the zoning board of appeals, none, and from the planning commission, none. What's going on? Nobody's doing anything? Renewable Energy Committee updates. Either Alice, could you give us that real quick?
Sure. The Renewable Energy Committee last met on May 26th at 9 a.m. Even though the committee moved to send the pipeline ordinance to this committee at that time, the draft was not completed. And Mr. Norberg and I are working with Chastain and Associates to complete that draft. We also recently began our review of the wind and solar ordinances. I will be meeting with Chastain and Associates today to continue that review. Once the draft pipeline, draft solar, and draft wind ordinances are completed, we will start on the creation of the battery energy storage systems ordinance. And the next meeting of the Renewable Energy Committee is scheduled for July 5th at 9 a.m. And we are hoping at that time to have a draft wind, solar, and pipeline ordinances for that committee to review and send to this committee next month.
Okay. And just to reiterate on the thing that they are moving forward very good on renewable energies. I've been out of state so much and going on. I haven't been involved a whole lot, but we're not holding up anything. I hear this, oh, we have a moratorium, and no, it's not a moratorium. It's just till we get our feet together. We're talking to people. We're working forward. This is going forward, not a no way type district. So thank you very much, Al. Zoning procedures, restructuring and enforcement updates. Jack, you got anything on that?
Well, I have to apologize to both chairman and vice chair that for the past, it seems like the month of May, I have not been at all. I've been MIA for this particular area. I apologize. I don't know. I looked at the agenda a couple days ago on what was going on, and I saw that I haven't done anything. So I spread myself pretty thin in the month of May. So I'm hoping that things will slow down for me, that I can jump back into it. So I have nothing.
Oh, no, what you've done so far is great. I mean, we've been working forward. So
I was wondering where your soccer uniform was at.
Yeah,
maybe you call him.
I haven't done laundry either. So
You mute him. We might have to do this. Okay, thank you again, Jack, for what you have been doing. Under old business now, repurposing the old jail. Tom, you might give a report on this.
Sure. So we've got the abatement solidified. We're getting rid of all the asbestos in the facility, getting ready for demolition. We're currently on hold with doing any drawings. We've got a September deadline for a bond that we've applied for. So we really are going to be kind of on hold to get the judges parking and all that kind of stuff moving forward. We are going to continue moving on in the maintenance area. We're going to, once we get the clean bill of health for the lower level, where the maintenance is going to go, we're going to get the rest of that stuff gutted and try to get the garage doors put in possibly, and then start moving maintenance over there prior to any construction that may go out for bid for the upper level. It's unfortunate that we can't get going on it quicker, but this bond, we won't find out about this bond until, or this grant, I'm sorry, until September. So we're still moving forward. Greg's doing a great job with his maintenance guys, and we're getting a lot of stuff on the docket, so it's coming along pretty well.
Anybody else? Thank you, Tom. Thank you for that, for keeping up with all that stuff. I haven't been around myself. Next under old business, new Quartz building boiler replacement project. Tom or Greg, or which one?
Sure. So, go ahead, Greg.
We just finally got a contract signed on that. I want to thank Charlie for his efforts with every contract that we get now. We have run it through Charlie. Seems like here lately, we've had a lot of contracts that we've had a little problems with. Charlie's corrected them, and then they've revised their contracts, and we were able to sign them for the new boilers right now. And we did get a good contract from the asbestos abatement team also. So Charlie's been helping us on that. We do have, they are supposed to be getting me a project schedule on when they're going to start now that we have a signed contract with Leschers. We did also get stamped drawings that we looked over and approved. So that project, we should be getting a start schedule here fairly soon, and I'll know more probably at the next meeting.
Okay. Well, thank you, Greg, and it's good to have Charlie on board and getting these contracts taken care of so that we get them right. Are we in the new business already? Animal control ordinances. It was tabled in May of 2022 at a meeting. It's still on the table. So we have anything on this? We don't do anything on this at this time. So it comes off of the board table.
I think I need a motion, don't I?
Motion to take it off the table. Is it?
Okay, so in April, my committee moved the ordinances to the full board. On the 21st, the board voted to hold over the ordinance until May. And then during the April meeting, or May 10th, properties changes were made based upon the board members because they didn't have sufficient time to review. So then they tabled the ordinance. So I'm not sure where we're at.
So the whole board tabled it until May.
Right, and then it came back to, I think it came back to us.
It
We made
was
some
supposed to be
changes,
sent back through, but it,
and
yeah, that was the whole, I kind of argued that last time. Table and start over is two different
because
things.
so as everyone on this committee had a chance to look at it and, make suggestions to her, I mean, because now we're here now, it's, it's open meeting, hopefully you're satisfied with it. I think we need to make a motion to send it back to the county board.
It has to go back to the board, but again, from the changes we made with Chris and what have you, I think there was things that we were still dealing with, and that's why we tabled it. But the whole county board has to approve this before anything can be sent forward as far as ordinances go. So do we need a motion, Becky, to go to full county board with this?
So it was already on the county board and then tabled on the county board. So it remains with the county board right now.
Okay.
I'm just gonna look, was it?
With the changes, Charlie?
The minutes show that it was tabled. Motion to table the animal control ordinance moved by Palin, second by Scrogstad, and then passed unanimously. So it still remains with the county board. I guess what I would tell this committee, what they should look at is, if you're looking to move forward on it, I guess have the discussion you want to have about the animal control ordinance. And then if you want to have some type of vote whatsoever, it would just be either to recommend it as written, or if there's anything you want to change with it. It's not to pass it. It's not to send it anywhere because it's already with the county board.
It's already at the county board level.
So we need to
A motion to basically
take it off the table.
to go to ask to have it on tabled on board, county board. basically.
It's going to take a vote at the county board, the full county board, to take it off the table. Right now with this committee is just, you can have your discussion, and if you want to give a recommendation, you can have a vote for a recommendation, either for it, against it, with different ideas, whatever it may be, but it's already at the county board level.
All right. I make a motion that we forward this to the county board with our recommendations as is.
I'll second it.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Motion by Shark said, second by Mr. Palin on send this to that county board with their recommendations. And any other discussions? I mean, there's stuff in it it's a
I think it
moving
looks,
contract or a moving
looks
thing.
good. She did a good job on putting this together and taking our input.
So just for clarity for the minutes, the way it stands right now with those recommendations, the way it stands right now.
With the way it stands right now, right? Because I believe the county board had an old version. This is version B or C, depending on however your revision is, but the most revision that we're looking at right now.
Can I jump in a second again? So Wendy sent me the minutes, and I thought it was the minutes for the full county board. That was just the minutes from the last properties meeting. So I do apologize. That was the wrong one. So I'm looking at the minutes for the full county board. And yes, it is being laid over until this month for the full vote. So
Version.
Yeah, that
whatever version you guys voted on at the time.
that would have been the old version. This is a newer version. So
Okay, so if there's a newer version, then
we're
yes,
gonna have to lay it over probably.
correct another
this-
month then.
This here. So,
Yep.
right.
So my apologies. There was two different documents. I thought I had the minutes from both of them.
So I think with our recommendation of this verbiage, I explain it at the next county board, what's going on, and that we have a new version, give the board members an opportunity to look at the newer version, lay that over for a month.
So then with that, because those were the minutes from the properties committee meeting, then I think you do need to vote to take it off the table first.
Vote to take it off the table at our meeting or vote
Correct.
to recommend, to take it off the table, okay.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's
Yep. Let's
rewind.
Rewind. It.
Yeah, we'll go
I make
back.
a motion that we untable it.
Mr. Scruggs said to vote, move to untable the,
I'll second it.
and Mr. Palin,
And then
Second.
I make a motion that we make recommendations of this.
we probably should vote on that one.
yeah.
That's right. Yeah, we're
Any
right.
discussion on that? Let's go. All in favor of moving the motion off the table? All
Aye.
right. Any opposed? It passed then. We'll get it off table. We'll go back to the motion you made to,
Earlier, yeah.
yeah.
So
How is that written? It was,
This would be the vote to send it to the county board with the changes that you guys were talking about.
Yeah.
yes, technically, wouldn't we have to vote, since it's laid over already, have to vote down the other one and send this one as the new version?
Well, you can't vote down the other one because the other one was laying over already
Oh, but when it comes to a vote,
at the full county board.
don't we need to vote that down and then look at this one? Or can you take this and implement it as a change? Because the change, the current one's already been laid over. So it would require a vote or table at that point in time, correct?
So it's held over, laying over,
Yep.
and then when you get to that vote, it's going to be
That's why I
a
said we should
motion
vote
to
it
hold
down
over.
and then reconsider this one. Because there's changes being made to it.
Yeah, it'd probably be the cleanest route to do it.
That one needs to be voted down at the vote and then consider this new changes.
Correct.
And that lays over for a month and then.
That way there's no confusion with what you're,
I guess
yep,
you got it.
I agree with that.
And that'll be done next Thursday.
Correct.
This is how easy it is.
Okay, so this is the layover month. Is that what I'm understanding, Charlie?
So what would happen is they get the full county board. There was the one that was held over from last month. They would vote that down, should the board decide to do so. And then they would hold over the new one that they're talking about right now to next month.
Okay, so July potentially could be the
Would be
new
the full
starting.
vote, yep.
Okay, because I guess I kind of need to know dates because of
Sure.
a fee schedule. So,
Yep.
okay.
All right. And
Yeah.
everybody clear out now what we're doing? Okay. All right, I guess we call a vote on it. All in favor of sending it to the county board, do the new things? Say aye.
New version? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion to pass. Sending that back. I want to thank Terry for the work on it. My son's into animals. He says, wow, that's a lot of work that was put into this, that ordinances. He doesn't agree with everything, but everything, you know, there's
And
no.
we're not, yeah, and we're not gonna get everybody to agree on everything,
Right.
I'm sure. But I do also want to thank Brandy, my other full-time officer here. This is Brandy Barkowski, and both of us have worked pretty hard on this. I started it years ago and couldn't get it done because a lot of times I was by myself. So once she came on board, we ended up, you know, few months ago, started and over thanks to Tom, and got it completed finally. So it's been a long, hard road. So I thank you all for looking at it.
Yeah, like I say, he does stuff like this for the feds, and he says, wow, there's a lot of work in this. This is a lot of work. He says, so I want to thank you for working forward on that. Okay, next under new business, approval to go out for bid for HVAC preventative maintenance schedule contracts.
Yeah, I could speak on this, Dave.
Thank you.
So we already had bids for the old courts building, the new courts building. And then Sheriff Symington thought it'd be a good idea if we had the Lee County Jail, since we got a brand new building out there and we do not have a preventative maintenance program. The county board did not vote that in, which is absolutely ridiculous. To spend that kind of money and taxpayers' money and not have a preventative maintenance program on a brand new building is just not acceptable. But so what we're doing is we've got scope letters for preventative maintenance issues and items that we need to put on all three buildings. And instead of getting a preventative maintenance schedule for 3 different buildings, we're gonna get a better price if we have one. So we're gonna put them all out for bid at the same time. So every building will have a specific schedule for filter changes, VAV checks, all the preventative maintenance stuff that we need to do when we're investing this kind of money into this capital. So what we're going to do is we're going to put out all 3 buildings. I believe we have the scope letters pretty much prepared and ready to go out for bid. When Wendy gets back, Greg and I and Wendy are going to sit down and go over what we've got as far as scope letters and get it out for bid like we've been doing. We've been doing everything legally and putting it out for bid. So that's what we're doing with these HVAC preventative maintenance contracts. And they are not inexpensive, but we have to invest in our infrastructure. And if we don't, we're just going to run into the same problem down the road. So, but yeah, that's what we're asking for approval to get, go through for approval process. So we put it out for bid.
We got a motion on this. So should you get a motion to send these out for bids?
I'll move. Second.
Moved by Palin, second by. Why, I hate this. I go brain dead on things. I just had COVID. Yeah, okay. I can blame it on something else. Williams. Any other discussion on this? I know when the new jail come on, they didn't want to, they said we got warranties. We shouldn't have to have contracts, but no, you need, maintenance is a whole nother thing over warranties, and we need, I spent much of my career in a maintenance process, and these are needed. Any other discussion? All in favor then, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay? Hearing none, the motion passes. And now we're finding out what preventative does to us. Another one, approval to go out for bid for boiler replacement in the original old court building.
I can speak to that too, Dave. So we've already got a boiler replacement, which Greg was talking about earlier with Loescher. We're replacing the boilers in the newest part of the new courts building. The old courts, the oldest part of the new courts building, that system's 40+ years old and it needs to be replaced. We've got pumps going down. We've got, it's just time for a new boiler. So we have scope letters in place. So we can put it out for bid. We have to put it out for bid again. We cannot add on to a contract. So we're going to what we're doing is getting scope letters again for the boiler replacement in the oldest part of the new courts building. And then going through the same bidding process as we did before and trying to get the best price for the county. So that's what that is for.
Can we get a motion to send that out for bid?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Sharks, good.
I'll second.
Second by Palin. Any other discussion on this one? The only thing I can see is we're gonna have to start labeling these buildings. When you said old courts building, I'm sitting in one and it's like, maybe we need to have names for these different buildings better. So, any other discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nays? Hearing none, motion passes. These are stuck together. And now we have an approval to go out for bid for the entire new courts building HVAC.
Yeah, I could probably speak to that too, Dave. So Greg's been working with some people. We're trying to get, this is a massive project. This is gonna be an expensive project. This is the one we were talking, that's gonna be in the couple $1 million range. But these air conditioners, and Greg could speak to a lot of this. I mean, Greg's been band-aiding this stuff together, and we were concerned that we weren't gonna be able to have air conditioning work over there. But we have people working on scope letters and for projects and specifications for air handlers. It's going to be a big project. But we are moving the ball forward with this so we can actually get a real count of what kind of money we're looking at to spend. And we're hoping to have bids probably by September 1st. So we know better where we're at financially as a county. But this again is a major job, and this is the entire facility. Is that correct, Greg?
Yes, that's correct. You know, we'd be taking out some of the old heating systems in the multi-zones that we have. And we'd be adding some HVA or VAC or VAV units that are have heat warm up on them through the air, which would be a lot more efficient. And we would have separate thermostats in each office area. So to make that area a lot more comfortable than what it is.
Yes.
I'd like to entertain a motion on this, to send this out to bid for the entire HVAC system in the new courts building. Williams, Mr. Williams moved, and
I'll second.
Jack Skunk says second. Yeah, and thank you, Tom, for the input. I think it was, who's doing the specifications, the write-up on the specifications on this to send out for bids?
We're getting heating experts, and then we're getting people to write up the specifications for the air handlers and all the nuts and bolts. And then in our bid packets, we have specifications for engineered stamped drawings to make sure that we are getting exactly what we want. So during the bid process, we're getting stamped engineered drawings. There's no reason in the world to have an engineer come through and specify something that we can't afford. So what we're doing is we're putting forward scope letters and stuff like that, and then we'll get approved drawings from every contractor that bids the job.
How old is the new courts building?
Greg, how old is the new courts building?
There's two different sections. The front section, which is the old section, is 1983. The newer section, I believe, was 2003.
Finished in 2001.
Okay, 2001. Okay.
Yeah, and Bill, that's a good point, is what is the age of some of this stuff? Issues are, we haven't maintained it, number one. Number two, the boiler project that we have already approved and we've got the engineered drawings for, and we're getting what we asked for. That was in the newest part of the Quartz building. The old boiler and the oldest part of the new Quartz building has outlasted the new one. So I guess you could say they don't build them like they used to. That's kind of where we're at with this, because some of these buildings are put together just aren't thought through as far as what needs to be put into it. And Greg could attest to this, but a lot of the newer equipment's failing before the old equipment is. So that's where we're at with that kind of stuff.
Could some of these items be parceled out?
Well, what do you mean? Such as what?
For heating or air conditioning or what have
They're-
you?
They
rather than-
could be one and the same with the units that go up on the roof. They've got heating elements in them. If you want to be parted out, go through a process of doing it in phases, you're probably looking at a 50 to 75 percentile more expense than doing it all at one time. In the construction industry, it's mobilization, demobilization, and you can ask Greg. There's so much stuff over there. It's kind of hodgepodge together. It's important to get one contractor to do all of everything. So when you get a system done, that it's consistent with we're not, you're not adding on to things 3 and 4 and 5 times.
Thank you.
And you don't have the ability of a contractor to say, well, that was the other part that wasn't in the contract. No, it's in your contract. So.
Right.
Yeah, I gotta agree with Tom. You're better off to do it all at one time. Get the scope, get the bid, get it done. The heating and the air conditioning go together. Basically, they're back to back on each other. The old Quartz building in the corner was built in '83, if that's what it was. Then the addition was put on and finished in 2001 when I came on the board. We're lucky with the boiler in the old part of the Quartz building. 43 years old, I believe it was, or something like that. Somebody said, don't doubt that. It has been band-aided and paper clipped together simply due to lack of revenue, as Tom is now discovering. But I think you're wise, and if we can continue to afford these maintenance agreements to keep this up, that's a great thing to do. Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion on this one? We're sending these basically not to sending them out, but we're sending them to administration and stuff, aren't we?
This is just the approval to go out.
Straight out to bid. Okay,
Yeah, we're not approving a dollar figure.
just to send it out to. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
All right.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Next, asbestos removal quote approval. I'd like to entertain a motion for the quote of $29,940 for the asbestos removal in the old LEC from ARPA Capital to the Finance Committee for approval. We're gonna send this to the finance. Can I get that?
I'll make that.
Mr. Scroggin makes the motion.
I'll second.
Mr. Palin seconds it. This must be, what'd they find in there for asbestos? We got, Greg?
They found quite a bit in there. I was surprised they did test. I mean, this company went well over and beyond. They had like 500 fittings above the ceilings that they had to test, and they came back as asbestos in them. Some of the glue that they used to glue stuff to the cement walls, that actually had asbestos. I was surprised on how many things is in that building that has asbestos in it. You wouldn't think that new of a building would have, because I think that was built in the 70s, which a lot of the buildings prior to that had a lot of asbestos, but this one had quite a bit in it. The terrazzo upstairs did not test for asbestos, so it saved us a big chunk of money right there. And the quote that they gave you is to do the whole building. I mean, we were going to phase it out, but it came in under what I thought it was, should be. So I think we should do the whole building at that amount. There's only 2 rooms that they're not gonna do, and we're gonna put new flooring over top of that. So there's no need to spend the extra money to have that removed. So, there was a lot more, you know, even some of the ceiling tiles even had asbestos in it. So they did several times. She was there at least 10 times testing and sending in. So, I think they did a very good, thorough job.
And that's
Yeah.
a very respectable price.
Yes, it is for, asbestos things have really gotten out of control. I've got many hours of training in asbestos and it's, yeah, you don't find anybody to come in at a price like that. It's more of a liability issue than it is a real safety issue, but, that's a good number to give us, release us of the liability. So,
And Dave,
Right.
can I say one other thing?
yes, please.
So in that building in the lower level, we had Whiteside, they were doing testing in there. Whiteside County was renting by the month. Greg did a good job of, we had an air conditioner go down in there and she asked, can we get the air conditioner fixed for her? And Greg and I discussed it. We're like, well, you know, we're to the point where we're gonna do asbestos removal. We're gonna have to, you know, give them their month's notice and get them out of there. Greg went over there and talked with her. She was very nice, and Greg and her came up with a date to get them out of there. We just didn't want to spend the money to put money back into an air conditioning system for a month-to-month rent, and we knew that we'd be having them move out of there. So I'm glad that Greg got the Whiteside County people the notification they needed to get out of there. And that way we can get all the asbestos removal done by getting them out of there, because we have to tear into those ceilings as well. So just wanted to make a comment on that.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nays? Motion carries. Next, the pipeline ordinance. I guess the ordinance is not ready to be presented yet this month, so we're still working on it. Appointments, we have none. Executive session, know of none. Adjournment, with no further business, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make that motion.
Jack and Bill. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion adjourned. Thank you all for coming and being here.
Thank you, Dave.